Walking Blind is hosted by overly emotional dudes who overthink and overanalyze everything. Nothing the hosts say should be taken as medical advice or opinion. They're not professionals, and they're about to make that very clear. So just kick back and hang with them, as you've earned it. In 5, 4, 3... What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Walking Blind podcast, where we answer the age-old question, when are either Kona, Big Wave, or Liquid Death going to sponsor us on this show? Because I feel like we're always drinking Kona and we're always drinking Liquid Death.
100%.
That being said, my name is Mike.
I'm also Mike. Oh, shit. And this is episode...
The intro was going so well.
I know, damn it. It's too close.
This is episode 21. This is the... we are of legal age and we're old enough to drink. And honest to God, I didn't realize that the Kona logo was actually turned out towards the camera when I did that whole thing. I didn't mean to, but did I?
But yeah, our podcast is old enough to drink, so
now we can drink.
Yes,
right.
Legally,
dude,
responsibly.
It is Monday night in the Casa Day Walking Blind, and we're here again. Episode 21. We made it. We made it. 21 episodes.
It's crazy.
21 and like a bonus episode. So, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
The 8.51. It could have been its own episode, but it was, whatever. To
give you an update, I am in a copyright strike war with YouTube right now because they denied my appeal on the copyright strike for YouTube. So,
wait, what was it for though?
Okay.
Like,
so the publishing company that publishes No Bragging Rights music in Canada claimed the video of you guys playing Hope Theory, saying, we own the rights to Hope Theory. You can't use it. And I said, Mike Perez, who is co-owner of this channel, who is on this podcast, who is in the video performing, wrote Hope Theory, wrote the songs with his band No Bragging Rights. And they're like, we own the rights. So then I fully appealed it. So we'll see in 30 days.
Damn.
Because I was like, I don't understand how you, as an artist, can't use your own music on your own creative projects. It's weird to me.
Do we need to get Daddy Jake on this?
I don't think. I don't think it's that important. I just felt like fighting back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like that video's monetized or anything like that. But it annoys me that they would tell you can't use your own stuff on your own project.
Right.
That's what annoys me.
Yeah, that's annoying. So
because it's not monetized. It's not like we're making AdSense revenue off of that video. But it just, it's the principle.
Yeah. What a bunch of idiots.
Yeah. So if you're hearing this and you're watching this on YouTube, go watch that Hope Theory video and tell them that that's actually Mike in the video because,
it's me. It's clearly me.
It's clearly you.
Probably wearing this. Oh no, I was wearing my. No.
In my appeal, I even said, look at every single other video on this channel, and you will see Mike Perez, the lead singer of No Bragging Rights, in every video. So
that's stupid. I hate the internet sometimes.
That's just because we're old.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, that being said, mental health check, man. Where are you at? Dude,
honestly, I'm all over the place. I don't even know how to go into this. I guess I don't want to say too much about it, but yeah. So I think I'm gonna lose one of my aunts, and they took her off the machine, and that was this morning. And as far as an hour ago, she's still here. Like, it's crazy. Like her heart is very strong. And so it's just it's weird. It's a weird whole thing. So yeah, that's been I guess occupying my mind, I guess, for the last, I don't even know, Wednesdays when we found out, or Tuesdays when we found out.
Yeah.
But, other than that, I think I've been okay. I feel like my body kind of told me to chill out yesterday, because I completely, my body just crashed. And, did I look tired yesterday?
You looked kind of beat up. And to be fair, I woke up feeling like that this morning.
Yeah. Okay.
I called in sick today.
Did you? Oh.
Yeah.
Dude. Well, yeah, I thankfully I had a really and it doesn't matter to anyone. I normally open at my shop, so I'm there about like 5 a.m. But today I closed, and so I got to sleep in today.
Yeah, I was wondering why you were like, I'm going to be off at 5:30. I was like, well, what?
Like, why? But yeah, so I just slept all yesterday pretty much. I got off work. I got sent home early because my allergies were crazy, and I slept like all day. And when I woke up, I took a COVID test, a home test, and it was negative. And I feel fine. I feel good now. And but mentally, I think it's been a lot. I need to get back into like running. Like, even though the show's
done, and we both kind of were like,
I know, I need to do that because I could tell there's little things that are kind of getting me, like my reactions to certain things. I felt like are starting to get uneven, and that's when I can tell like, okay, I need to do something. And so I think I need to get back into like exercise and stuff. But yeah.
I did speak to our personal trainer.
Oh yeah, that's right. I got to respond back.
And he said that he is almost done with your plan.
He is done. He sent it.
Okay, cool.
So we're gonna be buff soon.
We're working on it.
And
I was flexing, but I wasn't flexing. But if it looked like I was buff there, I was flexing.
And there's no reason for me to have this open right now. So yeah, mentally, it's kind of a roller coaster, I guess. It's got some other bad news, but it's fine. It's fine. But
is it fine though?
It's fine. It'll be fine.
That's a bummer.
It's a bummer. It'll be okay. It'll be all right. It's good.
I have to remove it from my calendar now.
It's all right. Me too. It's okay. No, but yeah, it's good. I'll be all right. I just need to run. Is what it comes down to. I need to run, and I think that'll kind of start to get me at least mentally back on track. So that's me. Where are you at?
Oh man, I'm still riding this wave. I thought the wave was kicking me to the shore, and then it picked up again, and now it feels like it's taking me back to the shore. I'm so confused sometimes. My life is an odd arrangement of things going on.
Nothing clear cut.
Nothing's clear cut. Nothing's clear cut.
A lot of gray.
I'm working on a cool project. We're kind of working on a cool project. The problem is I don't know what the timeline is on this. But we have some really cool things that are in the works. If it comes together, it comes together, it's really fucking cool.
It's the dream I didn't even know was a thing until he was explaining it to me.
Yeah.
So like now I'm like really excited about it and shit. So
yeah, and then I'm also, you know what it is? I feel like I'm taking on a lot right now, right? Like I feel like I have so many wheels turning and so many things in motion right now. That like the things I'm doing for like my own personal mental health and like my own sanity and my own like private life, I guess, are so weird at this point that I have to focus on everything else because I don't know what to think about things. But as far as everything else goes, like I woke up this morning with a straight up migraine. Like I woke up and my head hurt and I was like, not today. Like I'm not going to work today. So I called in sick and then kind of like took some migraine medicine, went back to sleep, woke up, felt a little bit better. And I was like, well, I still like, I feel like I need today. Yeah. I need to just take, so I like, I ran around, ran some errands, hit the Bass Pro. That's why I'm wearing the hat today. I like the right thing to do. And just kind of like knocked out some things that I needed to do, on my own for some of my own shit. So, Yeah, man. Like there's so many things in motion right now that like, if the pieces start to fall together, it's going to be awesome. And like these pieces might fall together sooner. They might fall together like within the next year. It's like that kind of thing, but it's all positive. Like it's all in a good direction, you know? So, yeah, man.
So sorry, I guess this can be edit this or whatever, but did you record today? Was that from today?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. I got up this morning, and that's why my voice is a little hoarse. But I was like, hey, I should knock out one of the songs today.
It sounds sick. It's like I was saying, I was like, oh, I think it's probably my new favorite.
So pretty much the EP is like one song and gang vocals and everything away from being done, which I'm hoping to get done this week.
Sick.
And then it's going to be shipped off to our boy Kelly to get mixed, which I'm really excited about. And then we'll be announcing the the longest EP in history, the longest EP process in history, because it's just been a roller coaster ride.
It's crazy that it's been over a year.
It's been like a year and a half. Just like
because you guys started drums. You guys did drums like
so I guess like I'll do a full episode on what happened with the EP and why it took so long.
Sure, that's good.
When it's done.
Yeah.
Like when the EP's done and we're getting ready to release it, like I'll talk about why it took us this long to get the EP done, because it's been such a weird process.
Dude, and Burner Street right now is like in the process of like, I think we're aiming for, like we're already trying to lock in days to record with Kelly for I don't know what to call it, our EP part 2 or either a full length.
Sick.
Yeah. So,
dude, maybe I'll bring in Dan or Jake or one of the TC boys to
just talk about
or maybe both of them. I don't know. We'll see. Just to talk about the wild processes have been like,
dude, what a
how everybody's the emotional roller coaster that everybody in this band has been through since we started it.
It's supposed to be just an easy fun.
Yeah, this was supposed to be just a fun little project, and it became
just an easy
this. But I mean the songs that I've been sending you, I didn't think that these songs would sound like this.
Yeah, dude, you'd be stoked. Like it's gonna be
yeah.
It's gonna be good when it comes out. Like it's genuinely, like when I hear it, it's like it's fun for me.
Yeah, it's cool.
I'm not saying that because I'm on one of the songs, but you know,
it's also not just saying that because he's wearing a shirt. Yeah. So man. Like I feel like a lot of things are in the works that like if they pan out and they fall into place, they'll be fucking sick. If everything that we're discussing here falls into place, it'll be even more sick.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah. Overall, a positive, a hectic and stressful approach to a lot of positivity in the end. So We'll go with that.
The potential for goodness.
The potential for greatness.
For greatness is there.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we went to the Angel game.
Yes.
On Friday. Thank you to Chris and Academy Mortgage for sponsoring us to go to watch our favorite team in baseball get absolutely fucking murdered by the Houston Astros.
It felt like the 90s. It felt like the 90s. It was, I believe it was like 10-2 by the 6th inning.
Yeah.
Like by the 7th inning stretch, dude, everybody was freaking gone. It was like, it was a ghost town in there.
It was wild. And we went on Ohtani bobblehead night, you know, so
we stayed till the end.
We got some bobbleheads. And, you know, the game, for what it's worth, we kind of, when you're an Angels fan, you're prepared to lose that way.
Yeah.
You're prepared.
It's sports. It happens. Yeah. They won the next day. No big deal.
Yeah. And we had good company. So it was a good time. It was a fun time.
It was a good time. It was fun. You know, win some, you lose some. They just lost really.
It was so bad that we ended up it like everybody left. It was a ghost town, so we ended up just leaving the seats where we were in. Like we were in right field basically, and we left our seats in the 7th inning and basically ended up right next at field
Like
level,
front row, left foul pole basically, left
Right.
field, or sorry, right field foul
right
pole.
field foul pole. Yeah, and we just hung out there for the rest of the game because
Yeah, nobody was gonna stop us. Nobody cared.
Yeah, nobody cared.
Again, it felt like the 90s.
Plus, when you have people with you that look confident and don't look like hooligans.
Yeah,
Yeah, if it was just us, they would probably be like, "What are you guys doing?"
Very true.
Yeah, it was a good time.
That's fun. One of the funny things I went to a game last season with buddy Caleb, and that was like my first game and like since the pandemic, and it was when stadiums were only open like I think it was like 50% capacity or something like that. And so we go to the game. There's like huge sections like sectioned off, and he's like, dude, isn't this kind of eerie? Like looking around and like how little like of people are here. I was like, nah, man. I've been coming to games since the 90s. Nobody gave a shit about the Angels. So I was like, this feels like oddly comfortable,
Yeah.
So
This feels right to me.
yeah. But being an Angel fan, you build a lot of character. So I thank them for that, putting me through a lot at a young age, and now as an adult. So thank you, Angels.
Thank you for building such a strong character in me, preparing me, for the world that's just gonna let me take L's,
Being a gracious loser.
left and right.
But anyway, so yeah, it was fun. That was a good time. Thank you, Chris, and what's his
And Academy Mortgage.
Academy Mortgage.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Thank you, Liquid Death, for
For not sponsoring us yet, but for sponsoring us in this future.
Reference this episode.
Yeah.
When it finally happens. Guys.
Episode 21. Episode 21 is the start. Should we just start mentioning Liquid Death in every episode?
Yeah, we should make ads for it and everything.
Yeah, from here on out, let's just mention Liquid Death in every episode just so that we can get cans of water.
That's all we want.
That's fair.
It's rock and roll water, basically.
Yeah. It gives us throwback memories to Warped Tour.
Yeah. Who doesn't want water in an aluminum can?
True.
It's the best.
Especially coming right out of a cooler of ice on a hot day. You crack that thing open. You would think that we're getting paid to say these things, but we're not.
We're not, for free. It's the goodness of our hearts. We're just good dudes like that. Good dudes who love some good water. It's not even, it's not a big deal.
The reason we're saying this is because our snack budget is running low and we haven't ordered any Liquid Death lately.
It's expensive, dude.
But that's because 10% of it goes to, saving the planet.
Does it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not very metal, but okay.
I think it's 10%. My numbers could be wrong. It'd be real cool though, is if they could give us the exact numbers in their contract that they send us.
Yeah, we don't require much. It's just cases. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Easy.
All right. So, are we going to make this a question episode? Is that what we're doing this week?
Yeah.
Let's do a question episode.
Was there a topic that we have that we can discuss?
I don't think so, man. I mean, it was cool to have Mario last week. Finally.
Dude, I almost cried, you guys, on the episode.
Did you?
Almost.
When he was talking about you having a mohawk?
Like standing up for me? Yeah, because I know for me that story is completely different. For me, that story is more so of just like, I was just like, that story meant a lot to me because it was my brother just being cool with the fact that I was just at his church in general,
right.
not caring how I looked. I didn't know about that other part. So when he started talking about that, I was like,
you know how much cooler it would have been if you'd have just let those tears fall?
Punch me away. No, that was cool though. I'm glad that he came out.
Dude, we're almost through the Perez family, man.
I know, next to my dad.
Yeah.
I think his will be shockingly like
awesome.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah, because I wish people really knew my dad, like, because when you hear like his story, I feel like it's crazy.
Yeah.
My dad's story is crazy. Like even when he tells me stuff, I like forget. And then it also makes me feel like a piece of shit because of all the opportunities he's like just given, like, you know, that we've just had, you know?
Yeah.
And, yeah, so that'll be an interesting one when we get him on. Mr. Cycles himself.
All right. So we had some questions come in from the live. We're going to get into these and answer some of these questions. So starting with Burial for the Living, what got you into punk / hardcore music?
So punk rock for me, I think it was more so my best friend growing up was my buddy Jose. His brother, I think I've talked about this before. His brother was kind of because I used to think, I was like, oh, I just liked alternative music or like rock music and stuff. And he kind of helped me narrow it down. Thinking back on it now, it was like kind of impressive how he was just like, he's like, okay, well, between these bands, what do you like about them? And then from there, he kind of narrowed it down. He's like, you like punk rock, you know, you like fast music. You don't care about like fancy guitar work.
Yeah.
Like this is more for you. And so I got into punk rock pretty early. Like once he explained that to me, I was in the 4th grade and it was right about the time for my 10th birthday. Always remember this because I went and I bought Green Day Dookie and my parents couldn't say shit because it was my money. Because the album art was like, it's like literally just like dogs throwing shit everywhere, like humping each other and like, yeah. And so, and that was like the beginning of it. And so that set me on a path. Hardcore, I'm hitting the table. Hardcore took me some time. You know, there's some bands that I liked, but I didn't recognize them as being hardcore bands.
You liked more of the punk aspects to the hardcore bands.
Yeah. Like I definitely like beat down stuff, like the heavier side of hardcore I didn't get into until much later. But like early on, you know, and I have to give my ex credit, Devin. She kind of
Your ex,
my ex-fiance.
The question that everybody's been asking.
Yeah, that's a whole episode.
That's a whole episode.
We're cool now, by the way. But she was kind of the one who was kind of she was very like, she's like, you like hardcore, right? I'm like, nah, I'm not into like the screaming stuff. She's like, no, but like, she's like, there's bands that I've played that you've liked, and like there's bands that you listen to that are hardcore. Like Comeback Kid was one of them, and I was like, oh, who I like I was like from Go. The first time I heard Comeback Kid, I was just like, I want to do this.
Which, dude, can we talk about the Silverstein Comeback Kid song?
Oh shit, yeah.
We'll come back to this. Let's finish the story.
Yeah, so no, I would say like my ex had a big part in like kind of also just showing me like, you know, she's like, you're thinking of like metal core and beatdown stuff. Like she's like hardcore stuff. Like you're into like Bane. Like she showed me Bane and I loved Bane. Pretty sure she showed me Have Heart. I loved Have Heart. Comeback Kid was obviously the big one for me. And so yeah, that was kind of like my introduction to it. And you know, once I started to like recognize hardcore bands live, that kind of changed it for me too. Yeah. Like once I started to understand like the difference between that energy and punk rock energy or metalcore energy or any of that other stuff, I like that, like really, I was like sold basically.
Was it you that sent me the meme that was like punk rock or hardcore is just punk rock with more comfortable clothes?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So what were your introductions?
So for me, I think I've kind of mentioned on this show before, like I didn't grow up on punk rock. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until later, actually after I got into like the hardcore scene, that I started listening to more punk. But
the reverse.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, as a kid, you kind of like listen to like the pop punk stuff that's on, of course, like MTV.
Yeah. By the time you were in high school, like Blink was already Blink.
Yeah. Blink was already Blink. There were bands like Sum 41 and shit like that were like, I guess, punk, you know, but I didn't I didn't really gravitate towards it. To me, like I grew up on like my dad was all into like classic metal, classic rock stuff. And then I grew up on like old school R&B and hip hop and stuff like that. And then there was that weird divergence of everything with like fucking Corn and like, you know, all that stuff that came later, which was such a weird era of time.
Very weird.
But once I got more into like, my introduction was really in like metalcore stuff. Every Time I Die, Aslay Dying, Atreyu, things like that, that like kind of brought me in. And I liked the riffy guitars. I liked the heavy breakdowns. I liked the, you know, like double pedal. Like I liked all the fast shit. And then it really wasn't until I moved back in high school, when I moved back to Southern California, where it was like, okay, here's all of that, but here, like, listen to bands like Thrice and, you know, Have Heart, Bane, yeah, you know, like Comeback Kid. And then that's where like I started gravitating more towards like even now, like if we're writing a song and it doesn't have a punk beat in it, I'm like, hey, I don't know if I like this, you know? Yes. So yeah, it was kind of backwards for me. Like it was like a long way around. And then of course, like when you play in a band with older dudes, right? Like when I was in Creative Void, I was one of the younger guys. Like I got a lot of their music was kind of like, listen to this, you know, and that's really, that's when I listened to Strung Out. That's when I listened to, you know, just a ton of different bands that I would have never even thought about, Propagandhi, you know, and so that was really but I kind of still gravitate more towards like riffier, hardcore, like where you know, kind of a little more technical stuff, but with punk beats, and I really like heavy breakdowns. So, yeah.
You know, it's crazy. I could have probably gotten into like heavier stuff a lot sooner just because of Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah.
They were like my early introduction.
Actually, I think Avenged was one of my first introductions, because I remember I was still in Atlanta when I was listening, you know, had it fucking Unholy Confessions cranked up in my 96 Camry at school. People were like, what the hell is this kid listening to? You know?
One of these days I'll go into my Avenged Sevenfold stories.
You do have some interesting Avenged.
They're wild. I will say this, that they, for no reason at all, they've always been really, really cool with like me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, yeah. So like, it's funny because like, obviously like, you know, especially in the hardcore tours, like every now and then like guys will like start talking like shit about them and stuff, and I get all defensive. I'm like, yeah, well, they're cool dudes, man. They're actually, the roots are like punk rock and hardcore.
Yeah.
Like I get all defensive, but anyways,
it's one of the things about the hardcore scene is that there are especially older dudes that tend to be very elitist.
Yeah.
You know, or like the gatekeepers.
Yeah. It's everywhere, dude. I remember that being in punk rock. And I remember myself getting to that point too. There are like some bands where I was like,
It was like that in metal too, I guess. Yeah. You know, but like with every genre, it's like that. But then but the way I look at it, especially when you're looking at like hardcore music and punk rock, right? It's hard enough already to make a living off of that type of music, right?
Yeah.
It's hard enough already. So then if you just happen to like I feel like Avenged Sevenfold stumbled into this like metal, you know, like
commercial type of metal,
this
almost.
like it's the same thing like with Escape to Fate, right? They kind of fell into this like really like radio friendly commercial metal, and then checks start coming in and you go, well,
yeah,
we could do this because life's going to be better, you know? And I know I'm going to have a ton of people that are like, well, then you shouldn't be doing fucking hardcore music. Fuck you. But I mean, this is, dude, we got bills to pay, man. And if you want to do this for a living, you want to do this forever, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. That whole mentality, like because it starts with like a lot of punk bands. Like for myself, for the longest time, like my heroes in the punk rock scene were NoFX. And they were big on like, you know, DIY, do it yourself. But it's like, well, not all of us can start our own fucking label and be like super successful like this, like you guys, like, you know what I mean? And not to mention they were on Epitaph.
Yeah.
You know? And so I felt like, I remember when I was, it took me a long time to like step away from like that mentality of like, cause I remember there was a time when I didn't want NBR to be like played on the radio, you know, even if it was like local stuff. I remember feeling weird about that.
I remember when you guys were.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like, I always felt like conflicted about that. And I remember like later on thinking like, that's so stupid. All of my favorite bands like have had some kind of commercial success.
Yeah.
Even NoFX, like they've had stuff where they, you know, granted they did a lot of themselves, but like, you know, the Ramones, like everyone loves the Ramones, but they're like in every sports arena now.
Commercials.
Yeah. Dude, freaking Pennywise now for Ducks games.
Yeah.
That bummed me out so hard. I was like, oh, that's so cool. Why the Ducks?
Why the Ducks?
Yeah, whenever the Ducks score a goal, they play Bro Hymn. Which is, you know, whatever. See, people can say what they want about Pennywise. I still love Pennywise.
You know, I mean, I really think it just boils down to like, when you're young, you want to believe that you're a part of something that is just like against the grain, you know. Mm-hmm. And I still think in a way you still are, right?
Yeah.
Like you're still doing something that's really not the norm for society. Yeah. Like we're watching this huge resurgence in pop punk and like emo music. And
yeah, it's weird.
And I fucking hate saying this, but a lot of people are saying it's because of Machine Gun Kelly and seeing all the shit that he's doing.
I don't like that.
I know it's not a cool statement and it's not something that's awesome, but if you think about it, like he's put pop punk in front of a mainstream audience, right? Like whether you think that he's doing it good or not, whether you think that he should be doing it or not, the fact remains that he's put this music in front of people who would have never listened to it before.
Fair.
And love it or hate it, now there's like this even bigger boost in resurgence for, I mean, like, I never would have thought that we'd be getting Hawthorne Heights albums coming back. I never thought that we'd be getting like all these reunions of these emo bands that are like huge, you know?
Yeah. People are like excited about it.
Yeah. And then, you know, like we've firsthand watched Pure Noise grow, you know, from literally nothing to the biggest, like arguably one of the biggest, you know, what would we classify? Alternative hardcore punk labels in the world.
I mean, yeah, just rock labels. They have everything.
Yeah. And you know, and that was like hugely based on like Jake's love of pop punk.
Yeah.
You know, and now I can only imagine that like the bands that there's so many good bands on Pure Noise now that like with this now emergence of pop punk and everything in the eyes of people, all those bands are going to benefit from it.
Yeah.
You know? So it's wild to me. It's wild.
It's crazy. Crazy times.
Things are weird.
Things are weird, man.
All right, cool. Next question. This comes from Max. Being in two bands of different genres, what crowd do you prefer performing in front of in terms of energy, and what gets the different crowds going?
All right. So this isn't like a knock to like my punk band, but like it's just for me personally, I'll take my bands out of it.
Yeah.
I think hardcore shows are way more fun than punk rock shows.
That's fair.
Hardcore shows done well, especially.
Real hardcore shows though.
Yeah.
Like where it's like people go to the hardcore shows to see these bands and they're there to stage dive. They're there to like grab
like
the
it's
mic,
just like
sing
it's
along.
Fun, rowdy, even if it's violent, whatever.
Stage dives, high fives.
Yeah. Like that kind of energy I think is I just think it's unmatched, you know. What makes like the punk rock experience for me now, it just be like it's like nostalgia. Like it's crazy to me. I forget how much of like a fan I am of like bands like NoFX, MXPX, Strung Out. Like, because when I see them, I'm like completely. I definitely forget where I'm at, but it's like it's just a whole different experience. But I guess the question is performing. So performing, it's 100% no bragging rights. It's the hardcore. Yeah. It's the interactive. Like I love, you know, I had all these like little nicks and cuts on my hands and I had forgotten about it. I was like, oh yeah, I forget that happens, you know, people grabbing.
Yeah.
But, you know, I love that, you know, And granted, Burner State, it's such a new band, so like it's still getting to that point. But
yeah,
yeah.
Well, at the last Burner State show at DBA in Pomona, there were people like getting rowdy and singing along and stuff. That was cool.
But it's just different. Like it's like it's not really fair to compare those bands.
Yeah.
I love Burner State a lot. Like it's so much fun for me to perform with Burner State. It's just different with NBR, and I was reminded of that, a couple weeks ago. But
yeah.
What was the second half of that question?
What crowd do you prefer performing in front of in terms of energy, and what gets the different crowds going?
I think just yelling Circle Pit for punk rock.
There's a fucking Circle Pit.
And then, I don't know, some mosh call for hardcore. But what about yours? I feel like yours are extreme.
So it's funny because we keep mentioning the Diamonds thing on this show, but I don't think we've ever actually discussed it.
I think it's time.
So I play in a band currently called Torture Culture. It's a hardcore band. And I used to play in a band called Creative Void, which is also a hardcore band. Creative Void was more positive. Torture Culture is more pissed. Mm. After Creative Void ended, there was this period of time where I wanted to still do music, but I didn't want to essentially rely on 5 people getting together to make it happen, right? Like I was trying to figure out what I could do. And when I was a kid growing up in Atlanta, like really, really close friends of mine, like my brother, Brian, taught me so much about like recording and like working in the studio, making beats. And I grew up on hip hop. And back then I could not rap. I could not freestyle. I could not do anything. I would just like everything I did was ended with day and rhymed with AK, and that was it. Right. But then I was trying to figure out something to do on my own, and I just kind of started making beats and rapping for a while. And then that eventually somebody had given me the nickname Mikey Diamonds because they ran into me somewhere and saw that I had like the diamond gauges in my ear. And I used to have, like I've let them close up, but I used to have way bigger gauges.
Right. I remember that.
Diamonds in there. And then somebody called me Mikey Diamonds, and it just kind of stuck. It wasn't a name that I was like 1,000% fond of.
Was it Williams?
No. Surprisingly.
King of nicknames.
But then it just stuck, and then that became like the project that I was working on. So I just fell into like at the time I was surrounded by like a big group of people who were all into like freestyling and rap. And so like we just literally have people come over to the house and put beats on. Martin was even involved. We'd make beats, and like people would just rap and freestyle, and it would just be this thing where you'd just be rapping, and then you just pass it off to the next person. They'd pick up right where you left off. And like, it sounds wild just to think about it, but like really it starts to make your brain work faster and faster because you're just around people and you don't want to say the same shit all the time. So Mikey Diamonds became like an actual project. Like I put out a couple mixtapes. Like there's an EP out there floating around somewhere. There's music videos.
And what sucks is he was doing a lot of his live performances while NBR was still like heavily touring, so he missed.
Yeah, so I'd be like, you guys would be in some random state playing a hardcore show, and I'd be like doing a show with Busy Bone at the at the Universal City Walk. Like, so yeah, like we and so the differences in the crowd, like I obviously like. I'll always love rock and roll. I always love hardcore music because that's where the energy is to me. Like I feel like that's same thing. Like there's nothing to match like people coming up and like trying to take the mic and sing songs with you, or like, people like piling on top of each other, stage dives, like just bringing everybody in, circle pits, all that shit. And like I had this conversation with Andrew this weekend. He's like, you like being like right on the floor and like with people in your face. I'm like, dude, like, even from the very beginning with Creative Void, I remember Jake telling us like, yo, today we're gonna play on the floor, and me being like, what the fuck are you talking about? Right. And then we played on the floor, and I was like, oh, this is it. I get this. Like,
I used to play on the floor until I got knocked out.
So yeah, so to me, I'm all, like, give me as much mic cable as you can give me. That's how far out I'm going. Like that's just, give me a wireless. Like that's one thing about the hip hop shows. Like they give you a wireless mic, and I was the guy that was like the stage is here and I'm over there on the bar. Like I'm on top of the bar, like rapping. Like I'm like jumping around. Like I tried to bring a lot of the hardcore show energy to the hip hop shows, but it sometimes didn't translate, you know? And like with the hip hop shows, it's more about like just kind of getting people hyped up, getting people involved. Like you drop the beat a lot and like, you know, hold on, run that shit back. You know, like just like we need to get everybody hyped. We need to get everybody moving, you know, whatever. And
such a different world.
It's such a different world. Like, and I remember having to get used to, there's no longer a band around me to riff off of, right? Like I legit had I had a hype man. Like I had to have a hype man on stage with me to just help. Like,
who was your hype man?
My buddy Evan. I mean, Evan was you know, and he wasn't the best hype man. I'll tell him that on camera right now, because he would get so high that he'd just be standing back there like, yeah. Yeah. And he's like this 6 foot tall, like, you know, dude that's just, you know, having a good time. But yeah, so like the differences are definitely a little more drastic, but it was fun, man. It was a lot of fun. And I think that the hip hop shows made me think more in a weird way, because it wasn't just me, or it was just me.
It literally just you.
So I had to like be more cognizant of everything that I was doing.
That sounds terrifying.
And there was no guitar in front of me to
dude, no.
You know, block me out or anything. It was just, yeah. It was fun though.
I think the only reason I was able to do emo nights because there was like a full, like the stage was full. There's like 9 people on stage. So
yeah, you went up there fully expecting to stand behind the DJ booth.
100%. 100%.
Here's my next song. You know. Yeah. So thanks, Max. Hope that answered your question. Also from Max, is there a topic that you haven't written a song about yet, and what would it be?
Man, that's hard. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what like topics. See, my thing when I write, I like there's certain topics that I want to write about, and what's fun for me is trying to find a different angle to write about that, or a perspective that hasn't been done. I don't know. So going back to like how the bands that I'm in tend to be serious, like it'd be fun to have like sport themed songs for me. That would be fun.
Sport themed as in like about like writing about the Angels, or as in like we're going to write like a football chant, you know?
No, like it's not to be, I guess, to be about the Angels, or just the process of like preparing for like baseball.
Why can't you write about that?
I can, but I don't know. I don't know how to make it work for NBR. I think at one point I tried. The closest I've ever gotten is I've just given like song titles, like The Prospect.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
you can have a breakdown like, I can't feel my arm.
Stick a fork in him, he's done. Just a song about baseball, funny like baseball lingo.
Dude, we'll write that song.
Right.
We'll write some riffs. We'll write some jams.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like, I don't know what topics that I haven't, at least for me, that like I'd want to write about that I haven't. I don't think I've written like a straight like love song. I think it'd be interesting. Like for my bands, I'm thinking about for like my bands. Like
I've written a straight love song, and that was the last thing I put out on my last project.
The one for the video?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess there's I don't know, topics that I haven't really, that I would like to write about.
I have an answer for this. I would write about my dad's story. But the only reason I haven't is because most people don't know it. Like he's very private about his life. and like I've always had it as a goal of mine to get him on a podcast or a show and for us to talk about everything. Because we've had that conversation once, and it was like super eye-opening. But I think if I could get him to tell it in his words, and then I would write a song about it after he tells it in his words. Because obviously it would be different from me, coming from me, as opposed to it coming from him.
Dude, that'd be sick. I got to do a small little piece of that that's what Cycles was, just hearing my dad's take on, growing up in an abusive environment and choosing to not be. Like, that was huge for me. That was insane. That's just a small little piece of his life. Good question, Max.
And then another from Max. If there's one song you can bring back live from Because You Believe, what would it be?
Man, I don't know. Probably. So this is kind of a weird one because, like, I don't know. I don't doubt anyone. Not many people even know that album. I really, really like New Year's for Roses.
Okay.
Not just because I wrote it. No, but like for me, that's such a fun. Like, it was like the last bit of like MBR being a punk band. Yeah. And it was like it shouldn't have been on there. That Broken Bottles probably shouldn't have been on there.
I really liked Broken Bottles a lot.
Broken Bottles was fun. Smoke Signals, actually, Smoke Signals would have been fun. I would still do
Race Truck.
That would be rough.
I actually just pulled up the
track list.
The track list. So, I mean, we know the answer to this right now. Is obviously Sad Panda.
Sad Panda would be the one that I think people would recognize.
But so let's see. We got Because You Believe, Broken Bottles, All Talk No Heart.
All Talk No Heart, I feel like we could do now live, and it wouldn't be that weird.
More Than Just Goodbye.
Yeah.
Settle for Stainless Steel, New Use for Roses, Sad Panda, Race Truck, The Day You Left, I See You, Faith is Foe, Letters to No One.
That part was Christian. I was like, that makes sense, I guess.
Letters to No One and Smoke Signals.
I don't know. I guess for me, Smoke Signals and No Use for Roses, one of those would be, for me, I'd want to do back just because they're fun.
Yeah.
And I like them. But I feel like Sad Panda would probably be the one that we'd have to play. This
has nothing to do with Because You Believe, but I was just looking at these song titles and it just reminded me of when, you were doing pre-pro for this most recent EP. And then you were like, yeah, so we're either thinking about calling this song this or this. And I remember the first name you gave me was like this really long title. And I was like, yeah, that's a very NBR name. that name's definitely a very No Bragging Rights name. And you were like,
I wonder what the title was.
I forget what it was. But it was one of the first three songs. So it would have either been, it was an alternate title for either Strength's Perspective. Or what were the other two that we did?
It was Strength's Perspective, Breaking Point, or maybe Stages.
I don't think it was Stage. Maybe it was Stages. Yeah. It was a different name.
The five stages of grief. Just a straight.
Wait, so we did Strength's Perspective, Walking Blind, and
we did Stages because I remember that's when I found my scream.
Yeah, you're right. Stages had a different name.
Yeah, Stages had a different name. Oh, what was it? But yeah, I hate naming songs. I hate naming bands. I hate naming album titles. I hate naming. Yeah, like I'm proud of some of the ones I've come up with. It's really rare that I am. But like I thought like the Concrete Flower was cool. And then I was so happy that it could also translate to an album because that's one less thing I have to think about.
Let's go back. I want to go back on some song titles here.
Oh, okay.
So let's look at Illuminator.
Okay.
Beautiful and Spineless.
Fun name. That's cool. that was an idea for an album title.
Yeah. Sixth and Main. That's
for the Showcase Theater in Corona.
Legendary. Weeding Out the Week.
Mm-hmm.
Ceasefire interlude.
Weeding Out the Week is one of my favorite choruses. And one of my favorite outros.
What?
I won't let this go.
Yeah. Illuminator. Empire Disarray.
It's a fun song.
The Prospect. Blind Faith. Recognition.
Recognition, one of my favorite songs that we've never... Well, I think we've played it once.
Yeah.
We played it once.
And They Threatened Us with Fire.
Fun one.
Death of an Era.
Long ass title.
Death of an Era.
Death of an Era, fun one.
All right, let's see. What's next? Consequence of Dream.
Death of an Era, I think, was also in the runnings for an album title.
Consequence of Dream. Setting the tone to the people I consider cowards. A Shot to End This All. Becoming the Arsonist.
That's a cool name.
The Consequence of Dreams. Home Away from Home. I feel like you phoned that one in.
Dude, I'm laughing at some of these titles because like they're literally like I'm just yeah. Yeah. That you guys like I'm not being like, oh yeah, I don't like naming. No, I fucking hate naming shit.
Ode to Logan. That was a good one.
Oh, I'm proud of that one.
Constant Distance.
Also, there's an original version of Ode to Logan that we recorded at do you remember Rich Bruce?
No.
Yeah, well,
Rich Bruce.
I'm surprised that name just came out. That might be wrong, but I think that like is his name. But we recorded an EP with him. No, sorry, not EP. Just demos, 3 demos, to see if we wanted to record our album with him. And then when we were like, nah, I think we'll pass, kind of thing.
I have those demos.
Do you?
I think so,
dude. If you do, please send it to me.
We got to go through the list. There's
that version of.
Oh no, maybe I don't. No,
Ode to Logan.
I have later ones.
Oh well, yeah. Anyway,
Constant Distance. Neil, You Traitor. I got that tattooed on me.
Yeah.
Weirdly. But not weirdly. I don't know. Deadliest of Lies. It's good. It's a good title. Concrete Flower.
Concrete Flower.
Strength Through Struggle. Always one of the hardest titles for me to say. Strength through struggle. The Concrete Flower. Outdated. Still one of my favorite NBR songs. Right Minded.
Named by Martin.
What?
Martin named Right Minded.
No. Bottoms Up.
That was a phone in for sure.
Fallen Masters. Attention.
That was kind of like...
Why don't I not remember that song? What song was that?
It's like 2 seconds. It's a song about military suicides.
Brave Hearts. Good song. Downhearted. And then Damage Recover.
So Attention and Downhearted and Advent of Change were on the list for Tough Love, but we cut them off because of time.
Then Cycles, Advent of Change, Hope Theory, Appraisals and Emissions, Cycles, Not My Salvation, Legacy, Fight for My Life, Repeater, the prequel, and Ascensions.
The Advent of Change was what I wanted the album title to be. But Cycles, we just thought we'd have more like things to do, and one of them, I thought it'd be so cool to be like a washing machine. It's like the thought of it is why it didn't become that. But that's what in my mind, I'm like, dude, that'd be sick. We do this and that. And I think everybody's like, that's cool. Let's see what else we can do.
And then of course, No Bragging Rights, Strengths Perspective.
Do you know what the prequel is? The prequel to? The prequel is the prequel to Unafraid to Burn.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, not that anyone cares, but that's what the reference is for. Is from.
Strengths Perspective, Walking Blind, Breaking Point, Stages, The Wait, Regret, and Unapologetic. Did I miss a record? I think just singles, right?
Yeah, just singles after that, or the EP, Anatomy of a Martyr.
Passion for Fashion.
Dude.
Heads of Fire.
Anatomy of a Martyr, I think it was a cool title.
Anatomy of a Martyr is cool. Heads of Fire, Breaking the Fourth Wall, Courage at Sea, Rise of Kings. Dude, To Contest and Conquer. Paul's Lament. Was To Contest and Conquer the song that I used to get up on stage with before?
Yep. Green Street Hooligans.
Fuck yeah.
We had a whole album based on different martyrs.
Yeah.
But then I was like, but this song is, I don't know. Yeah, Green Street Hooligans. If you haven't seen it, it's fucking sick.
All right. So let's move on to the next question.
That was random, but fun.
That was random. But it's our show. We do whatever we want.
Yeah.
Okay. Maximus asks one more. We already know the answer to this, but what is a band that you've played with that you feel is criminally underrated?
Or saying it'd be funny, like I give like an answer that's probably not going to be what Mike thinks, but then like it's edited out and it's Mike dubbed over.
It just says torture culture.
Torture culture. Creative Void. Criminally underrated. Oh man, there's a ton.
You guys have played with a lot of good bands.
Yeah, a lot of good bands. I'm trying to think of bands that like, because I feel like if you've headlined for us, then I don't think, or you know what I mean. I feel like then.
Yeah, I think it would have to be bands that you either played with like on you guys' self headlining tours, or you know,
criminally underrated. So I feel bad for Motives from Ohio, because their album came out and then the pandemic happened, and I felt like their album was solid, and I felt like it was gonna do a lot of great things for them. So that's one. No Home is one because Craig, I don't think people realize what he's able to do with his voice. And he's actually really cut back on the clean side of his singing because like they're heavier music, and he's focused more on like the streaming side. But Craig has like an incredible voice, like and live too. We actually met Craig like years ago in Coos Bay, and their band like, and you know, I feel bad saying this, whatever. Like he's been in bad bands.
Yeah.
But his voice has carried him.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those things that it was always like such a bummer because like he'd ask us like, hey, what do you think? And I'm like, I was being honest. I'm like, dude, you are solid. Like you are good. But you guys just don't like write good music, or like you're just not like, it's like, that's the other thing too. Like people, if you want to know my opinion on your stuff, like I'll give it to you. Like
sometimes it might hurt sometimes, but it'll be honest.
Yeah. But I felt like
it doesn't come from a place of malice.
Yeah. Like we just got like, we've had some good criticism, I felt, and I've always appreciated when people were like, you know, hey, like your choruses aren't like it. Like, or like you're too wordy on like some of your choruses, you know, they'd hit better if they didn't do this or that, you know, and stuff like that. Like I took to heart. I was like, okay, cool. Like I'll look into, you know.
I think I've mentioned this before, but for those of you who don't know, originally Martin was a member of Torture Culture. He played drums in the band, and when I came into it, I was just like, I'm just gonna do what I did on the old Creative Void records, right? So I recorded, and Martin was like, you know, like, it would be like, well, is there a way that you can like? Is there a way that you can not sound like you? And I was like, what?
Verbatim Martin quote.
And he's like, yeah. Like, the way that you scream, can you not do that? And I was like, fuck are you talking about? He's like, yeah, just like you to try something different. And I fought it at first. I fought it. And then eventually I don't want to say I gave in. I just like, as we kept going, I found a balance.
Yeah, you took his note, and then you found something that's definitely, I think, a lot more authentic for what especially for this. Like this, it fits perfect for what you're doing now.
Yeah. But yeah, sometimes that criticism, you know, sometimes you don't want to hear it, but.
So just remember what you heard just that one time. Remember, I've had Martin in my band for a while, so.
Oh no, I've heard that a lot.
Yeah. It's good. It's good though. I feel like, especially with like music or anything, if you're wanting to get better, like it sucks to hear stuff like my I'd always get so bummed out when like, so okay, NBR's gotten so much better at like whenever they don't like something, then they'll give something.
Right.
That's like something I feel like it took us time, where it's like, don't just like poo an idea, like unless you have something to say.
Yeah, don't shit on it. Offer some sort of like.
Yeah. And so like, you know, there'd be something where I'd be, you know, like, and anyone who writes will understand this, you know, I'll spend like hours just on one part, like, you know, the chorus or whatever. And I'm like, and I finally get it to where like, I'm like, oh, this is sick. And I bring it, and the guys are like, no, like, don't do that. Like, do, you know, or like, I don't know. I'm not.
Hey, can you not go high on this note?
Yeah. Can you change the lyrics for that part? Or can you, I'm like, yeah, I didn't just spend a fucking night freaking, you know what I mean? Anyway,
yeah.
So like, but I got, once I like, yeah, I think our band communicates really well now. And I think my attitude, a lot of it on my end, I feel like I'm just more like, I'm happy to hear stuff.
Yeah. I think you've gotten older and you've gotten more like receptive to that type of thing.
Yeah.
You know,
I want to know if it's like, okay, if this isn't it, then we'll try something else. Because I also feel like now that means they have confidence that you can do better.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
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 You know.
Which, you know, also strayed away from the path. I see what I did there. On the question of what is a band that you've played with that you feel is criminally underrated. That's a tough one for me. I don't know. I'd have to really think about that. I actually know I do have one from way back in the day. Was I feel like Destroy the Runner was very underrated.
Good.
I feel
good
like
band.
I feel like Destroy the Runner should have been way bigger than they were.
Yeah. Man. Well, I guess in a weird way, even though they started to get success later on, you know, I guess would be Let Live, even though they really started to really. Mm-hmm. But for a long time, like it's weird that not many people knew who they were based on how incredible they were live.
Yeah, their live performance alone just like shit on everybody else that would be on shows with them.
Yeah, our MBR is different because of them. Like, just this is gonna sound so like just kind of dumb, but I don't post up too much. I don't think, at least in my mind, it was after touring with Let Live, I like made it a conscious point to like not like stand in one spot.
Yeah,
like I move, like I'll pace around and stuff, but like in my mind, I'm like, dude, when you'll never be Jason. So like I didn't even attempt to like think of like maybe I should learn how to do backflips and shit, or like fly off of like drive into trash cans on stage, or like strip down to my underwear and then do a backflip off the wall. Like I'm not gonna do that shit. That's just not me. Good. Yeah, but for myself, you know, I was like, you know what, I can keep things interesting by at least like not being stuck in one spot.
Yeah, like
move around. So that was kind of a lot of that, you know, dude, just watching Let Live just destroy every night. Never a bad show.
All right. Vinyl, cassette, or CD?
That's a funny screenshot. I've just been looking over like my freaking anyway. You know, the cool answer is vinyl, but I'm gonna say CD.
Out of the three, it's just the most efficient.
Yeah, and it's what I grew up on.
Yeah. I mean, I liked cassettes, but let's be real. You don't have to fast forward.
No, it was frustrating.
The song that you liked, yeah.
And that's, I told my Mortal Kombat story. Love that song so much. I was like, I'm going to put it again on the other side.
All right. Don't know if you have any, but if you were to ever get a tattoo, what would it be? This applies to you because I'm already tattooed.
Yeah. So I don't have any tattoos. The tattoo I wanted to get was going to be for my grandmother when she passed away. And I still remember exactly what it was going to be. And this is where I was talking about this earlier. And I was saying how, like, I feel like there's a time where I would have probably been a little like, oh, this is very from like mid 2000s. And then now I think I would have been more of like, yeah, this is, but I wanted it to be like a tombstone, but to have like rays and like a lot of like greenery, like breaking through it and stuff. and to have it be more than just goodbye, because that's a song I wrote for my grandmother. And what else did I want? Yeah, I wanted it to be tombstone with like a lot of light coming through it. So I didn't want it to be like that gloomy. I wanted it to be like almost like a, I don't know. But yeah, I think I can get that as a painting and be just as happy, just as happy with it other than having it on my body. So.
What if we did this, Mike? What if we did this? What if we said, and we set a goal that this podcast, right? Everybody pushes and promotes this podcast. Everybody tells their friends about it. And we get up to...
It needs to be high because...
5,000 subscribers.
5,000? That doesn't seem very high to me. I mean, right now it seems very high.
25,000 subscribers.
25,000.
I just said 5 because I felt it was so attainable that you would get a tattoo.
I know. Well,
okay. What if this podcast gets up to 50,000 subscribers?
50,000?
50,000 subscribers, and then I will pay for your first tattoo. Would you do it?
Oh, man.
Because I know at this point you've gone so long and you have such a clean...
I've gone so long.
...canvas and body that, like, you know...
At 100,000, I would.
100,000?
100,000, I would.
100,000 subscribers. And then you get a neck blast?
I don't know if I get a neck blast.
Or hands. First tattoo, just get your hands done.
My knuckles. 100,000. 100,000, I'd get a tattoo. Like a decent one.
100,000? We got a long way to go.
I know. Well, I've gone a long time without getting a tattoo.
That's fair. All right.
It feels like such a waste. But then it wouldn't, because like, no, actually knowing myself, I'd probably be so vain that I would have probably worked out just so I could like wear like a sleeveless shirt or something stupid.
All right. So from our boy Chris, so now we can get it. This is a kind of mental health question. It's kind of, if someone's struggling with depression or anxiety, how would one approach a friend to ask for help without feeling like they are a burden or the fear of being laughed at?
So this one hits me. This will always hit me because I feel like my buddy Will that passed. I almost feel like he didn't want to like talk to me because I felt like he probably thought it was a burden to me, which sucks. Yeah. And so, just I would say like, you're not a burden. Like, who cares? And if you are a burden, if you talk to somebody and they treat you like you're a burden, then I don't think they're your friends, or they shouldn't be in your life in the first place, or at least hold a position in your life where you feel like you should talk to them. Because, like, I don't know, or to get laughed at. I mean, I don't know everyone's circle of friends.
That doesn't sound like a friend, though.
Yeah. You know, and I think you know, maybe it's just I know it's hard. I understand the seriousness of how hard it is to like talk or like even share, but like you're not a burden to some, like you can't, like you're not. And if you like put yourself out there and you share this and you get like laughed at by your friend, not your friend.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Again, for myself, and this made me have to like really, like the whole thing with my buddy Will, like I say this all the time, but it really made me like have to look at myself because, you know, I just felt like, again, it felt like it was on my watch. I was very selfish about it because I made it about me. I was just like, you know, why didn't he come in? Why didn't he come to me? Why didn't he tell me that he was going through this? Why didn't he, you know, all this stuff? Instead of me, you know, I should have probably, maybe looking back on it, were there signs, you know, that whole thing. I went through all that. And so I just try to make myself, which is why I do what I do, which is what I say on stage, which is a lot of, you know, different posts I put. you know, I want it to be known that you can come to me. Like I try to make that as clear as possible now in my life for myself, for Mike Press, you know? And so I feel bad if someone really feels like they will get laughed at if they try to approach somebody or tell them that they're going through something or they're feeling a certain way. If anyone feels that, if someone truly feels they're going to go through that, I would almost challenge it and just say, you know, do it. And if you get laughed at, then that's a great indicator that is not your friend.
Cut them out.
That is not someone who cares about you.
Yeah.
You know, there's a difference between getting laughed at and then maybe somebody just doesn't know how to react to that because it's so, like, there's like that, you know, the nervous laugh. You know, really quick, something that kind of stuck with me was there was a pastor that used to come into the Daily Brew, and he was so high energy, and he was a walking, like, youth pastor, basically. Like, he had the really trendy glasses. He dressed really nice. He had really cool hair. Super positive, super outgoing. Everyone knew who he was when he came in. And I remember we talked in the past before about music. And then when he had checked out No Bragging Rights and saw that we were about mental health, he literally came over and he was just like, he's like, dude, I checked out your band. That's crazy. Like, you guys talking about mental health. Like, dude, that's so wow. He's like, dude, I suffer from severe depression. Like, crazy. I know it's crazy. Like, crazy depression. And he was like laughing. He was like laughing about it.
Yeah.
And so like
it's a coping mechanism.
Yeah. And in my mind, I'm like, really? You? And he's like, dude, I'm all about that, man. We should do something in the past or in the past. We should do something like in the future, this and that. And I was like, yeah, you do totally. And then like 2 weeks later, he took his life. Fuck. And so like, I was almost like laughing because he was kind of laughing too when he was sharing that. But at the same time, it was also very serious, and I thought it was cool that he would share that, and I was just blown away that somebody like him would be experiencing that, you know. And so again, I hope anyone who thinks that, like, if that's a thought in your mind, like, I feel like I'm gonna be embarrassed or they're gonna laugh, like, I would just do it, you know. I think you'll surprise yourself, and I think you'd be surprised with, you know, I think you might find that you might have like someone who's willing to help you, you know, and especially if they're a friend of yours, they're a good friend. I would imagine they'd want to support you, you know, even if they don't know how. I'm sure you know, you guys can figure that out together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
like, what does supporting me look like? What would that look like? You know, so yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't really have much else to add to that. Really, that's, you know, I think that if you are dealing with a situation like that where you don't have somebody to talk to, you don't have anybody to go to, and, you know, if for any reason you don't want to seek out therapy or, you know, like, talk to us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, we're not licensed. We're not professionals. We're not, you know, but really good at listening.
Good at listening. We can point you to.
Yeah. And we can point you in the direction of friends of ours who are
yeah,
certified at this. You know what I mean? Who are professionals in this.
Yeah. That's been the fun thing. Like I know people now. You know what I mean? That's like, hey, hit up this person or contact this group. So
yeah. Cool. And then Chris had one more question that he sent over to me. He said he's a question I didn't get to ask. Do you think medicine helps with depression, or does it just numb and then make things worse once you stop taking them?
I've had a really weird journey with medication and depression. So, because I've gone like on extremes of it, where I've thought of it as being something detrimental more than helpful. And then I've also had my mind changed because I've seen it help other people.
Yeah.
I think, I think it can be helpful. But I also think you should be doing other things along with it and not making that your main source of like, I need this or else I'm not going to feel better.
Right.
You know, I think I was like just today talking with somebody, you know, about talking, like doing, you know, putting, like bringing some physical activity into your life. It doesn't have to be crazy. People don't have to go overboard where it's like, oh, for my mental health, I'm going to start powerlifting. It's like, you don't have to do that.
Just walk.
Or I'm gonna start running 5 miles. Like, you don't have to do that. You could just walk. Something. Just adding little things into your life. Diet, you know, whatever you get diagnosed with, you know, you can look online and see like what kind of things, you know, there's certain things that could be a deficiency for, like, you know, you don't get enough serotonin or you don't have enough, I don't know. There's different things you can do, and different foods provide at least a little bit of a push in that. And so there's things you can do along with your medication that I think would be helpful. You know, but I don't know. Like I said, I used to be I've gone both ways on this, and where I'm at now, I think medication can be helpful, but I just really would encourage you or whoever to, you know, do stuff along with it. Don't just rely solely on medication. You know, find activities, hobbies, something to like help you deal with whatever you're going through, or just things that kind of help enhance like your life. You know, brings things that bring you joy.
Yeah. I kind of I'm kind of in the same boat as you. You know, I've been around so many people who have developed dependencies on medications and drugs and things like that. Even not just speaking of, you know, depression medication or anxiety medication, but I think that there's a definite positive to it, as long as it's being taken in conjunction with, you know, like you said, things like physical activity, things like therapy, and then also not looking at medication as like a cure-all, understanding that it's something to help assist you, you know, in like bettering your life. You know what I mean? I think what a lot of people do is they medicate themselves as a way to just deal with it in the moment, but they don't take the time to understand why they're feeling the way they are, or what may have been the cause, or like, you know, understand how to cope and how to deal with the things, you know, outside of the medication. You know, sometimes it you know, the medication is just what you need, but there has to be more to it to understand why it's what you need. Right. You know, yeah.
Yeah. If you're on medication, like ask and see, like, what is this helping? What is this? What do I have? Yeah. What do I have a deficiency in? Or what do I have? Or what am my body naturally over producing that is making me be like this? You know, that's stuff you should be able to ask your pharmacist or doctor, you know, or even look online, or, you know.
They do have, you know, they do have like nurses and doctors and pharmacists that are available for medication questions, right? I mean, I work for a healthcare organization, and we have a line specifically for medication questions.
Cool.
And for asking, you know, like, what does this do? What's, you know, whether it's explanations of what the medication is for, or what it's going to treat, or what it's going to do. You can ask all of those questions. You can find out exactly what you're taking and why, and what it's doing, and what it's meant to do to your body, what it's going to elevate, what's it going to suppress, what's it going to, you know, affect. So that's something that you guys have the opportunity to do, you know, like, and I'd say be wary of just Googling shit. Be careful.
Yeah.
You know,
do what Mike said. That's awesome. Even if you haven't even like started taking it, just questions that'd be cool to ask and find out.
And a lot of times when you're working with a psychologist, or you're working with somebody who is prescribing the medications to you, they should be versed enough to tell you what this medication is going to do for you. You know, So it's, you know, you have every right and to know.
Yeah, know what you're putting in your body.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that is it. That's our questions.
Sick.
So we are going to be, like I said, we're working on a lot. We always say this, but we're working on making the show better. What we want to do is we're going to try and keep these episodes a little more short, a little more concise, so that we're not like rambling for 2.5 hours. Right. And you know, we want you guys to send in your questions. We want you guys to send in, you know what I want to do this week is I want to hear some wins.
Yeah.
Dude, like, cause I feel like lately, like we've been talking about a lot of like, even in our own mental health checks, like the shit that we're struggling with, but like, I want to hear some W's, dude. Like I want like,
yeah, anything, job promotion, freaking.
I want to hear about the fucking beer league home run that you hit last week. I want to hear about job promotions. I want to hear about like finally landing that kickflip. Like I want to hear all of it, dude. Yeah. Like give us some, like right now, I need all the positivity.
Yeah, I need victories. That's like on the way here. Cause like
little victories. Send it in, at walkingblindpod@gmail.com. Hit us up on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Mike is always on the TikTok these days.
Yeah. And please interact with us. Like write us questions on there, comment on there. You know, we're trying to be more, dude. Okay. I'm saying this now. This is, and Mike can do this too. On TikTok, if you write a comment on any of our videos,
we'll respond.
I will video respond. I'm doing that with MBR, and it's like, it's helped a lot. But we don't get many questions on the Walking Blind TikTok.
Yeah, we haven't really built up the platform as much. But we also, you know, we want to, Mike's going to be doing some live streams.
Yeah. On YouTube.
We're going to be kind of pushing things towards that channel and pushing things towards those social medias because we want to build a community more than anything else. Like, you know, with the Discord, with, you know, the YouTube channel. Dude, I you know, like I've been on the YouTube and the comments are great on there. Like I have fun reading through what you guys are saying. And if you have responses to anything that we're saying on the episodes, like somebody outside of the YouTube and podcast and everything came to me like personally and was like, did you really agree with Will Smith slapping Chris Rock? And I was like, yo, like when I was on the show, it was my immediate first reaction just to seeing it. And I was like, you know, I have a different take on it now after seeing everything and really seeing what's going on. I go, but I want you guys to reach out to us and let us know, like, if you don't agree with things, like, or if we say something that you're like, nah, that's not right, or I don't think so, you know,
or how you would answer. I know there's some questions that are pretty direct towards, you know, band stuff, but like anything else, like, I'd love to hear you guys' response. Like, how would you answer what I just said? Like the last question we had.
Tell me I'm a dickhead for macing my girlfriend, you know, like.
Oh, so funny.
You know, things like that. We want to talk to you guys, you know. And like I said, this week I want to hear about the W's. I want to hear about the wins. Yeah, like even if you're our homie and we talk every day, I still want you to send in your wins.
Yeah, because you know, I say this like people can, you know, I have friends that I know their story. Yeah, I'm like, dude, share it here. That way other people can see it or hear it.
I'm gonna call names out on this episode. I want to win from Ty.
Ooh.
I want to win from Jesse.
Okay.
I want to win from Andrew.
There you go. Let's go.
You know, I want to win from everybody. Everybody. I want to hear something cool, something positive.
Hopefully they watch this episode.
Let's hope so.
We'll just tag them. We'll just keep tagging them in our stuff.
Just include them in everything. We'll clip this.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll clip this. Mike will clip this. I won't clip this.
I'll clip it. Get him. Yeah. I gotta get back on track. I have videos of my brother, and I had shit from Joey.
So many. Anyways, also this new setup that we got going on here is kind of cool.
It's guys, you know,
streamlining things, guys. Trying to make things more efficient. It's all one bundle package deal now.
I love it.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Love you guys. Peace.